In previous videos, we derived the probability of a particle existing in a particular energy level as a function of the value of the energy level, the epsilon sub I. This begs the question, before we kind of assumed that the energy levels were discrete, but this begs the question, how can we actually go out and calculate these different energy levels? And so, depending on how complex the system, that will affect what the energy levels are. But what we can do to just get a sense of, what affects the energy levels, we could calculate it for a very simplified system. Specifically, we could calculate it for an ideal gas sort of system. And so in general, when we talk about the ideal gas, all actual gases can approximate ideal gas behavior in very extreme limits. So specifically, gases will behave like ideal gases when the molecules effectively don't see one another. Molecules do not see each other. Okay? And so this can be approximated under the following conditions. So this happens when the concentration of molecules is very small. And so for concentration, that's just equal to the number of particles divided by volume. So when that concentration is very small, or when the pressure is very small. And essentially both of these are saying the same sort of thing. And what they're saying is that in the system, if the molecules are too far apart to contact or interact with one another, then essentially the molecules don't see each other. Right? So you don't have to worry about any sort of intermolecular interactions. Furthermore, when temperature is very large, then the interactions between molecules are just going to be weak anyhow. And what's going to dominate the thermodynamics is the entropic characteristics of the system. Okay? All right, so under these conditions, this is when we would get an ideal gas. And so in order to evaluate the energy levels and evaluate the properties of the ideal gas, where we're going to start is we're just going to start with really one of its most basic properties, which is counting the microstates of a gas. So of ideal gas, let's figure out how to count omega. Okay? And so when it comes to the microstates of an ideal gas, not only are they going to be dependent on the position of the molecules, they will also depend on the velocity or the momentum of the molecule as well. Okay? Alright, and so in order to calculate the microstates, we're not just going to rely on tools that we have previously seen, but we actually need to borrow tools from a separate but related field, which is quantum mechanics. Right? And so the whole point of quantum mechanics is really the same as what the focus of this sort of module is. And so it's focused on understanding the energy distribution, or quantifying the energy distribution. So focused on quantifying the energy distribution of molecules in a system. Distribution of molecules. Okay? Alright, and so what we're going to do is we're now going to apply the techniques of quantum mechanics.